Hello and welcome to Happy Horror Time. My name's Tim Murdoch.
And my name is Matt Emert. Hey, Tim. I choked up a little.
Why are you nervous? Because I'm so famous?
I'm so Tim, to be in your presence right now, it's just crazy. And you know what's funny is that Tim and I are sitting right next to each other recording this time.
This is different.
It is. We're not sitting across from each other because we are welcoming a special guest to discuss Beetlejuice with us today. And the guest just happens to be my adorable 10-year-old, very recently 10-year-old nephew, Bix Emert-Hutner. He's going to be joining us a little bit later, so we are getting ready to talk to him. Tim has met my nephew, and Tim, you've actually hung out with him in New York, right?
Yeah, it was when we were there for a film festival.
Come in on YouTube now.
Yes. Make sure you tune in and watch it. And your sister and her husband made us a beautiful, I don't know if they made it.
No, they didn't make it. They got us a cake. Yeah, we had entered the short film Come In a film festival, and it made it into one of the film festivals in New York. We went out there because my family's there, and my sister and brother-in-law, Mark, they got us and Bix, they got us a cake. It was like a little horror cake, remember?
Was it at Christmas time?
It was December, yeah.
Oh, gosh. I wish it was December here. Am I right?
Oh, my God. We have been in L.A. for people who listen from L.A., oh, it has been, we went through a heat wave. Going through a heat wave. You know that song, Tim?
No, I've never heard it.
Oh, got it. It has been, like, I think we got to over 110, and I know everyone loves talking about the weather.
I skipped parties to not, there was a costume party I was invited to, and I didn't go because I did not want to sweat in public.
And it just so happened to be the same costume party that Jacob and I met at 6 years ago, and we just hit our anniversary of being together.
Let me get this right. Happy 6th anniversary, Matt and Jacob.
Thank you, Tim. It is funny because it's a mutual friend who has a birthday party that's always like a themed costume party. And the year that Jacob and I met, the theme was jocks versus nerds. I know we've talked about this, but so they have a different theme every year, and Tim didn't go.
Yeah, I didn't go. I didn't want to meet the significant other, so
Tim,
I could be like, happy 6th anniversary, Tim and blank.
Tim and blank. It was 6 years from now. We could be saying, Tim, remember when you went to that costume party? Because I wonder how many, if any, other people have met their significant others at this party. I bet they have, but have they lasted 6 years, Tim? Have they?
I don't know. You put someone in a costume, you put someone with some White Claw, magic.
You give someone a little alcohol, you go to a costume party. You know, September, now that we're in the midst of September is a big month for the Happy Horror Time team because, well, Jacob's birthday was earlier this month. It was his birthday.
Happy birthday, Jacob.
And Tim jumped out of a cake, remember, Tim?
I did. I was like,
you were like, ew, this cake is greasy.
Yeah, I was like, gosh, it's so sticky.
Well, we had a little mini pool party, just like a little thing, because one of our good friends, thank God, has a pool, and we went there.
I'm tempted to break into that pool and take a dip.
Well, the heat wave's going to be ending, thank God. But yeah, it's still going to be hot. When I say the heat wave's ending, I mean like unbearably hot. But yeah, so
I mean,
we
like,
had pool.
No joke. I know I just said this to you like 5 minutes ago, but I'm going to say it again.
Say it.
So instead of going to that costume party and putting on a lot of layers of cute clothes, because I know I'd look good in my costume.
Humble also.
I stayed home and watched. I've become like my parents, and this is no diss to my parents, but you know when you turn on a streaming service, you just, whatever they recommend to you, just watch.
I think my parents do that too.
Okay, like I used to not do that. Like I used to it used to take me like a good hour. Like I'd go like, no, I don't want to watch this. No, I don't want to watch this.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
I'd watch like an hour of trailers before I zeroed in on something.
Have you ever only watched trailers and then be like, oh, I'm good? Like,
yeah,
like the
I was
whole
like,
time.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, exactly. So what did you end up watching?
It said recommended. Basic Instinct 2. I watched it.
That is a one-timer movie, I will say.
No, I haven't revisited.
Meaning, like, see it once. That's all you need to do.
18 years later, I was like, you know what? I get it.
I'm going to watch Basic Instinct. That is a weird choice for a random weekend.
Sharon Stone's hair, if you watch it now today, it's a very interesting choices. A lot of choices were made.
Do you think Sharon Stone will ever do Basic Instinct 3?
I hope so. I really do. With like, who's the young star? Like, her daughter is like Selena Gomez. I don't know.
Selena Gomez in Basic Instinct Take three. Yeah. When I was trying to think of other stuff for September, well, Bix's birthday just happened. It was September 13th. He
20 what?
He's 10 years old. But what I'm so excited about, and we'll talk to him in a little bit about all this, is that Bix has become, just like his Uncle Matt, a huge horror fan. And now that he's at a certain age where he's starting to be able to see like even the R-rated horror movies, we can like literally talk about horror movies together.
I think that's when I started. My brother took me to see Friday 13th Part 7, The New Blood, when I was in 5th grade. Isn't he in 5th grade?
He just started 5th grade, yeah.
Yes. I
oh
mean,
my God.
No, but I'm not saying he should watch it. It was different time. It was the 80s.
He has watched a bunch, and we'll ask him what his favorites are, but he has seen a bunch. Obviously, there's still some subject matter that my sister and brother-in-law
But, you know, the 80s were different than the 2000s.
And also, you know what's funny is that he definitely could, like, if you know how on AMC Fear Fest they have the edited versions? Not saying that's how you should start seeing some of these horror movies,
I
but
think that's okay.
He could watch all of those because they're all edited. They edit the inappropriate stuff out. But we did pick this movie, Beetlejuice, because it was a PG-13 movie that we knew there'd be no issues with him being able to see and talk about. But, you know, he has seen R-rated R.
Is it PG-13?
It is PG-13.
He can't even get in.
He went with his parents. But what is was the original Beetlejuice PG or PG-13?
I can't.
Tim, you usually know this random stuff.
I usually do. I actually, the reason I remember Beetlejuice, the original, is because when we walked out of Beetlejuice, there was ironically enough, there was a huge poster for Friday 13th Part 7, The New Blood. And I remember standing by it and like pointing to it, being like, I want to see this. I want to see this.
The Friday, you mean after seeing Beetlejuice, you're like, I want to see this scarier movie.
I want to see this.
It was rated PG, so they upped it. But remember how in the 80s PG really meant like PG-13 because it was really scary.
I mean, like, when was the changing point? It was like Gremlins, Red Dawn. They were like, this is a little too much.
Poltergeist.
Well, Poltergeist
was PG.
But they're in the original Beetlejuice.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
right,
PG. Just kidding,
PG. But when we were watching the original Beetlejuice, that we know she does tear off her face and she does rip off his head.
There's some scary stuff. So before we bring Bix on to talk about Beetlejuice, just a quick bit. We can talk about the original Beetlejuice. You first saw it obviously as a kid. You saw it in the movie theater?
I did with my brother Trevor.
Oh, see, I was, I guess, 8, and I can't, or 8, or maybe almost 9. I can't remember. I know I saw it when it came out, but I can't remember if I saw it like as a rental or in the movie theater. I just remember, and I think I was telling you this the other day because we rewatched the first one.
Protruding chest hair?
No, that didn't bother me, but I do remember feeling really sad that Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, the main couple of the first one, die in the beginning. I mean, yes, they're ghosts and they're still around, but I just remember being like, oh, that's sad. I don't know if maybe for some reason that affected me because I'm like, well, and they can't leave their house. That sucks. Now, obviously,
it was that dog's fault on the bridge.
It was that dog's fault on the bridge. I mean, the dog went right in front of them. They drove off into the water. But I remember Beetlejuice, my memory of it as a kid versus when we rewatch it as an adult is so different. What I didn't know, so when we rewatched it, Beetlejuice, the character, doesn't even get introduced, like have a first real scene until over halfway through the movie. And if you would have told me that, I would have never. No, of course, he's in the whole movie. He comes in, remember, halfway through.
I mean, I love Michael Keaton and you know, he's Batman, but it's almost like because there is no laugh track in Beetlejuice, it's almost like he's a bad comedian.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it is funny.
Like his jokes fall flat.
If you're not
but it's
laughing,
fine.
I mean, I guess they assume that you're laughing watching, but if you're not watching, it's so awkward because it's like,
that's the thing I really remember about Beetlejuice.
The music.
The music.
The moment.
Eminem. So when the movie came out, I thought the score I love Danny Elfman's score, and you know he's married to Bridget Fonda.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, Danny Elfman has great scores, but he's got great scores, you know?
But I remember the beginning of Beetlejuice so vividly. Is that a word, vividly?
Yeah. Good word, Tim.
Thank you.
Oh, you mean like the opening credits, not the beginning, like where they drive into the lake. Oh my God, so vividly.
I remember.
They steer away from that dog.
You and I, when we were watching, we were like, would you really die with your car just kind of flopped into the lake?
If you're stuck in the car and can't get out, yes, you would drown. But when they go into the lake, it's like not even a 1-story drop, but the car turns on its side. And it is hard to get out of a car. So, but whatever. Luckily, they don't like show any of that. But the whole movie.
I wanted to see them drowning.
I know. Yes, that's so fun to watch. No, Beetlejuice, it's such a peculiar character, but now looking back, you just don't even question it. It's just like this demon slash ghost that's just quirky and crude
I just
and
cannot
ridiculous.
believe we're still talking about it 38 years later.
Because
Is
they
it
did a sequel.
38?
Well, yeah. And
Holy
the thing
cow.
is that so Tim Burton, actually, what are your favorite Tim Burton movies, Tim?
Oh, I like Batman Returns. I like the original Batman.
The original Batman.
I think I love Edward Scissorhands.
Everyone loves Edward Scissorhands, and I actually am going to tell. I think if Bix hasn't seen it, like, it's nice. It's different. It's not quite horror, but it's weird. I grew up not loving Tim Burton.
What is wrong with you?
Well, I'm not knocking him. I appreciated him. It just wasn't like, oh my God, like some people are so obsessed with Tim Burton movies because they love that like Nightmare Before Christmas weird, creepy feel of his movies.
Can I give you a pop
quiz?
quiz?
He did Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
I don't care about that movie.
Oh, but he did it, right? But the thing is, he also tends to do really weird things like the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That was weird.
A lot of people love The Big Fish. I couldn't get into it.
Oh, I have not seen Big Fish, but Batman and Batman Returns were by far the best Batman. So I will say he created the best Batman
You didn't like
universe.
the one with Val Kilmer?
I did like Batman Forever, but it's different. It's more of like a hokey feel. Batman and Batman Returns are like dark and creepy and just great. And,
Hello there, hell here.
and then Beetlejuice is obviously a classic, but I will say I remembered it as, I forgot when we rewatched it how important Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin are to the plot. Like Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara, who are in the sequel, are kind of side characters. It's really Michael Keaton and Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. Now, Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin are not in the sequel. Did you hear that?
No, I had a copy. I'm wired.
But because, and they address this correctly, is that they're ghosts and ghosts don't age. So if they had much older Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, that'd be really weird.
Do you think Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin are like
watching this movie?
Yeah, like pacing around movie theaters saying, what the F?
They're like, you know what? We were in this movie. Do you remember Beetlejuice? Do you remember? What I want to know is, has Michael Keaton in the last 38 years, like, done Beetlejuice for anything?
Hey, don't you find it weird? Like when I used to go to Universal back in like 2001, and I've been there obviously since, but I remember they had like a Beetlejuice show, and I thought,
really?
Gosh, Universal needs to up their they need to update their shows, because it was like 1988, and then it was like 2001, and like I don't know how long that Beetlejuice show.
Well, we have to talk about
Beetlejuice
you and
show.
I.
Oh yeah,
which is so ironic that we just mentioned the visit when my sister got us the cake in the film festival, because that was the same visit we went to see the Beetlejuice stage show.
That's
Everything's
right.
connected. Yeah,
I loved it.
I loved it too, because it, like, to see something on stage with that kind of, what I will say about Beetlejuice, the art direction, the colors, the visuals, all the spirits, the shrunken head guy, the woman with the legs missed, like, it's
But
just
even
so
then,
fun.
When we were watching it on Broadway, I was like, gosh, isn't it weird that they have to like reach back into the archives of cinema and bring Beetlejuice back? You know what I mean? Like, I was like,
yes,
it's
and
so
no.
interesting that like Beetlejuice will not die.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, you could easily say, oh my God, why are we making a sequel to a movie that's 36 years old? But, and I was just talking about this with Jacob, like, there's some nostalgia factor where there's these movies that like people who are now our age grew up with, and we can revisit them, of course, but then it's like, oh my God, what a treat to be able to like revisit the characters and see them grown up like we are now and see what's going on with them.
You're talking to someone who appreciates a nostalgia, and like, look at what your favorite film is. Halloween, mine's Friday 13th.
And
so,
I just got a trilogy of new Halloween movies with Jamie Lee Curtis, like, which I loved, So
Right.
I mean, you
I
Friday
will
the
get-
13th. I don't
who
think you're
knows
gonna
what
get.
I'm gonna get.
You're not going to get Betsy Palmer, but you could get Adrian King, and if that series ever comes out.
I know, fingers crossed. But it's so interesting that they reached back into the archive for Beetlejuice, because I like, it's weird to even see Beetlejuice costumes today because it seems so dated, but if you wait long
it's
enough,
timeless.
everything will come back.
And I will say that Beetlejuice the movie was ripe for a sequel, because when you have a movie that deals with the afterlife, characters that are dead or ghosts, you can keep coming back. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a horror movie where someone dies, they're done, and you can't bring them back. Well, sometimes we just have different timelines. What am I saying? But what I mean is that, like, Edward Scissorhands, it'd be weird if we saw like much old. I guess we could see older
remember
Edward
the
Scissorhands.
movie, like Winona Ryder was playing the old lady. She goes, "You can't go up to the house."
Wait, I can't. It's been so long
Do you
since I saw
remember-
Edward
okay, do you
Scissorhands.
remember
I just
she had,
remember
like-
being kind of sad at the end.
She had blonde hair, and I
Yes.
will give you $100
Wait,
if you remember her
dances
name.
in the snow, right?
Yeah,
That's
Do you
all I
remember
remember.
Winona Ryder's name in Edward Scissorhands?
Beatrice.
Yeah, it was B. Arthur. No, it was Kim.
Wow. I love that you can pull this out of your ass.
Let me tell you why.
Okay, tell me.
Because Kim rhymes with Tim.
Wow.
It all comes back to me,
That
me,
sounds
me.
incredibly narcissistic.
Well, did you know that
I mean,
everyone has narcissist tendencies?
of course, we all are sort
Mine
of
are peeking out.
We're all a little bit narcissistic, of course. But
As I look in the mirror.
but you know what? Before we get too narcissistic, I think we should bring out like it's like a talk show.
Well, it is kind of.
Well, it is, but it's we should welcome on our special guest for today, my nephew. I love him so much, Bix Emert-Hutner. Hey, Bixie.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Bixie, so now I want to ask you about, would you say you're a big horror movie fan?
Yes,
And
definitely.
who are the biggest horror movie fans in our family?
You, me, my mom, and your mom.
Oh, Nama. So we call my mom Nama. And Tim, who are the big horror movie fans in your family?
I think it's just me. I'm alone.
Tim didn't pass. Tim, and you're going to have to pass.
My older brother, Trevor.
He does some horror movies. So, Bix, what I want to know is, what are some of your favorite horror movies over the years that you've seen?
I really like the Evil Dead series.
Wow.
I like the Final Destination series. And, well, I've seen so many of them. Last night, I saw the Blair Witch Project.
Oh.
What did you think of that?
It was really good, like, really scary. Like, imagine you just waking up to a bunch of these cricket sounds, and then your tongue starts getting, like, karate chopping on.
Oh, you saw the newer one?
The 1999.
Did you, I saw that in the movie theater, and that's one that some people think that it's boring, but I thought it was really scary.
It was, like, you just wake up and there's randomly a pile of 3 rocks by your tent.
You want to hear something creepy? When that movie came out, you, of course, weren't alive, but Tim and I were young, which means it's a long time ago. And they tried to make it like that was a true story. Everyone thought that really happened to those 3 people. Remember that, Tim?
Yes, because there was no internet. We couldn't Google it and check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard my dad was like, back then, people had no idea if it was real or it was a real documentary or just an actual movie. They had no idea.
Well, now I just want to tell listeners that we are about to, well, by the time this episode comes out, we will have gone, but we are going to Las Vegas for Bix's 10th birthday, and we're going to be showing him the original Halloween for the first time. So I'm so excited.
And you're going to gamble.
No.
Oh.
What a good influence. No, so Bix, I'm hoping that maybe that will start to change your mind on your favorite horror movies, Halloween, and maybe, do you know what Tim's favorite horror movie is?
I guess.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, close. I like Friday 13th, even though I am wearing a Nightmare on Elm Street t-shirt, which could really throw people off.
I didn't even notice, actually.
Oh.
Well,
I thought it
Bix,
was like a school.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that you love the Evil Dead movies, because Evil Dead, especially the remake and Evil Dead Rise, are really cool. And then of the Final Destination movies, which one's your favorite?
4. Either 4 or 5. They're my absolute favorites.
Wow, what's your favorite, Tim?
I guess part 3 with the roller coaster.
A roller coaster. And the tanning bed scene, which was terrifying. I think I told Bix this already, but I like the original, the first one, and Bix, we've talked to the main guy from Final Destination 1, Devin Sawa, and the teacher, Kristen Cloak. So that was awesome.
And the director.
Oh yeah, and or not the director was James Wan, right? Or sorry, the screenwriter, and yeah, or was he co-director?
I think he directed one of them, right?
And then part 3 he worked on also. But anyway, yeah, it was a ton of fun. But I can't wait to show you so many more horror movies. But before we jump into Beetlejuice, when did you first see the first Beetlejuice?
I'd say before all my big horror stuff started coming in. Yeah.
You mean when you were still watching only PG-13 horror?
Before I was really watching horror at all.
Oh, yeah, because as Beetlejuice considered, I guess it is.
I mean, it has scary images.
And what did you think of the first Beetlejuice? Like, did you like it? Did you think it was funny?
I loved it. I really liked it.
It's a fun, like, now that came out when I was even younger than you, and it was just a crazy, crazy movie. Then everybody remembered it. And then 36 years later, they did this sequel. and
Yeah.
you saw it the opening night. And tell everybody about the popcorn bucket you got.
Oh yeah. So it was like the snake worm. It was a giant bucket, literally, of all the popcorn in it. It was the shape of the snake worm and had like it was painted to look like the actual.
Did you keep it or throw it in the trash?
We still have it.
Is there popcorn still in it?
He's going to keep some popcorn just in case he gets a little hungry, even though it's stale. No, and so you got to get that, which is really cool. But so going into Beetlejuice, we were really excited because Winona Ryder, who plays Lydia, was a kid in the first one, and she's all grown up in this one. And her daughter is played by Jenna Ortega, and I know that you love Jenna Ortega, right?
Yeah.
You a big Wednesday fan?
I am a Wednesday fan and want to be a Scream fan, but I'm not allowed to yet.
Soon, very soon.
Soon. We'll get there soon. I know the Scream movies are so good, but you got to start by seeing the ones she wasn't in. The first 4 are before Jenna Ortega came on, and then she was in 5 and 6. But Wednesday season 2 is coming up, but Jenna Ortega was perfect for playing Winona Ryder's daughter. So anyway, let's go to the beginning of this movie, Beetlejuice. So at the very beginning, we find out that Winona Ryder, Lydia Dietz, does a ghost TV show called Ghost House, which makes sense because she can see ghosts. So now, would you want to be able to see ghosts, Bix?
Honestly, yes, because I'd want to see Nana and Papa.
Oh, that's very sweet.
That's very sweet. I'm gonna cry. Jesus Christ. Yes, that is definitely an advantage of seeing ghosts. And
I think we're done. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tim and I are crying now. Yes, I mean she can see people, and in the first movie, that's why she can see Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin because they happen to pass away. And by the way, Nana and Papa are my brother-in-law's parents who passed away a few years ago. Very incredible, sweet, lovely people. I would love to see them too, Bix.
I'm crying.
Well, but unfortunately for Lydia, she starts seeing flashes of Beetlejuice, which haunt her, and they were a little scary. Like, it was like jump scare flashes.
Yeah, like during the show when she was on live, a guy in the audience kind of was like turned into Beetlejuice laughing when she blinked, like he just a normal guy watching.
That's creepy.
Right. Good memory.
Yeah, Tim's like, I don't even remember that.
I mean, I was watching the movie too.
It was creepy. I will say they introduced it like it was like a jump scare. Like Beetlejuice is still haunting her all these years later. And we also find out that Lydia is dating her producer, Rory, who's played by Justin Theroux. Now, one funny thing about him is that he has the same weird ponytail that the interior designer had from the first film. Remember him?
Is that like a nod to him?
I don't know. I guess so. I don't know if you remember, Bix, but the family that moved in, her family, they had this interior designer, Otho, and the actor has since passed away. But yeah, I feel like it had to be a nod to him.
And fun fact, he used to date Jennifer Aniston from the show Friends.
That actor did? Oh,
Yeah,
no, Justin Theroux.
Theroux.
Yes, Justin Theroux. I was like, oh my God, Otho. So we get that, and then we find out the big news. Lydia gets called by her mom, who's Catherine O'Hara. She's Delia Dietz. Sorry, it's a stepmother, and tells her that her father has passed away. Now, what did you think of how the father had died, Bix? Can you tell us? Do you remember?
I thought it was insane because first, the plane crashes, but he doesn't die. Second, he grabs onto a piece of metal and almost drowns, but he doesn't die. And then the survivors of that plane crash recall that he was eaten by a shark, right?
Yes.
Yes, and they show this whole sequence as claymation because they did not rehire the actor who played Charles because he's had some legal problems. So they showed it. Let's just keep it at that. They had some claymation. What did you think of the claymation? Did you like it? Both of you guys.
I thought it was really real looking.
It reminded me of Pee-wee's Playhouse, which is also Tim Burton, so I enjoyed that.
Good reference, Tim. Tim pulling out the... Yes.
Listen,
wait, Bix, do you even know what Pee-wee's Playhouse is?
Do you know who Pee-wee Herman is? Paul Rubens.
Oh, this is my message for my sister. Show him an episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse. Your mom and I, my sister, used to watch Pee-wee's Playhouse as kids and used to sing the theme song.
Bix might enjoy Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right?
Yes, the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Bix, he was just like a funny guy that had all sorts of kooky stuff in his house.
Pee-wee Herman's laugh.
Oh, so Bixie. So after that, we find out that Charles has died. So Delia and Lydia and Rory go to pick up Astrid, Lydia's daughter, from her school, and that's Jenna Ortega. And how do the people are kind of mean to her at school. What did they do to her?
They jump scared her for her dorm room. They set up a fake ghost, and the second she opens the door, it goes like, but she kind of burned them to get back at them.
She said that when you're marrying your third husband, or I don't remember.
Divorce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a good memory base. Yeah, because they're making fun of her because her mom is the ghost girl. But Astrid and her mom don't really get along because her dad has died and she thinks her mom is a fraud. She doesn't think she can see ghosts at all. And that was kind of sad because you wanted
Catherine O'Hara shows up. Are we at that part?
Yeah. They all go and get her and they take her back to Wintergreen, which is the town that the first movie was in. And I will say, I kind of liked it at the funeral for the dad. They had a choir singing the Day-O song, which I thought was a cool little reference.
Yeah, a nice nod to the 1988 original.
I don't know. Do you remember that scene, Bix, from the original where they dance?
Like an Easter egg that like the director put in.
Wow, look at you with the Easter egg.
I know. He knows the terms. Bix knows his stuff, right, Bix?
Sure.
Bixie, that scene is the most famous scene
in all of movie history.
No, in the original, like they do a whole dance to it. Yep. Mr. Tallyman.
And then this happens to their food.
Yes, hands come out of their food. Yes, Bix is doing the dance on our Zoom right now. So we even get an explanation for what happened to Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. Tim, do you remember?
There's a loophole in the Book of the Deceased, and they
moved on.
They moved on.
Yeah, convenient, whatever. But Astrid, Jenna Ortega, finds that model of the town and sees a flyer for Beetlejuice, and her mom says, do not say his name.
She almost says it. She says, Beetlejuice. She's like, no.
I know. She's like, no, don't say it. And remember, Astrid doesn't believe her, so she's like, I don't.
Well, her big thing is like, hey, you could see dead people, but why can't you see our dad who was eaten by piranhas?
Yes. Do you notice, Bix, did you catch up? I didn't even know this. Why can't Lydia, Winona Ryder, see the dead husband if he's a ghost?
Yeah, I mean, they do later.
Yes, later when they go the after. So, we also get a quick thing where Rory proposes to Lydia and they're going to get married 2 days later on Halloween. Now, I don't know about you guys.
Astrid is like, no, why?
Yeah, now, why doesn't Astrid like Rory? You remember?
I'm pretty sure because anyone who's involved, I think
he's an opportunist.
A show-off kind of guy.
Yeah, show-off.
Yeah, he was a show-off, and she could sense it. So she goes on a bike ride through the town, and by the way, when she's riding through the town, do you remember she passes by the place where Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin...
Oh, the bridge.
The bridge, yeah. And then, do you remember, so she's going through the town, and then she gets in a bike crash.
She first is just normal, almost gets hit by a truck, dodges, almost hits a person, dodges, almost hits a fence, doesn't dodge, actually happens, and crashes against a tree where she meets a guy that I forget his name.
His name was Jeremy, but good memory. That's a good... And first off, that almost crash is so complicated.
It looks like the way she hits it, and they make a sound against the tree that's like, did she survive?
Yeah, she hits that tree hard.
It's like...
Bump. So she meets Jeremy, who you just think is a nice teenage boy, and he's kind of interested in her. And she talks to him about how her mom's Lydia Dietz, and he's like, oh my God, the ghost house girl and all that. And he invites her over to spend Halloween with him. Well, uh-oh.
And then she wants to stay an extra day, and her mom's like, well, let's all leave. And then she goes, no, I'm getting married. And then she's
I'm getting married on Halloween.
Yeah, she wanted to stay an extra day because her mom saw Beetlejuice, I think, accidentally traveled to the afterlife by accident, I think.
I think she was still seeing like flashes of it, but Astrid just wants to go on this date on Halloween. Now, I will say, Bix, could you tell that I love the Halloween scene because everyone had decorations out?
Yeah. And there was a giant plot twist on Halloween.
That's right.
There was. Good. So she goes over there and they're having a good time and they kiss and then they rise up and she realizes that...
The ghost.
He's a ghost, but not just that. Tell us, Bix.
But meanwhile, at the house, Lydia hears from that lady that the house she went to was ghost house. The boy murdered his parents, so when the police found him up in the top of his treehouse when they were trying to get him down. He fell and
broke his neck.
He
I think.
stabbed through his neck or broke.
I think he just broke his neck.
It
but
was
yes,
a bruise.
But so the big plot twist is this nice guy that Astrid thought she met is actually a murderer. He's dead, and he killed his parents. Now,
and he's got to do a swap.
Tim, you kind of called it, but didn't you?
I said he's dead because the parents, when they showed the parents, they didn't show the parents' faces. So I was like, they're dead.
Did you?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, you thought so too, Bix? Did you think when they showed the parents, you don't see them move, and you're like, why are they not moving? Oh,
I mean, they were moving, but you didn't see the face.
Oh yeah, I guess I meant they didn't leave the house. They never got up.
And then he obviously explains. He's like, hey. But he also manipulates her.
Yeah, so he says, this is what this guy does, and he's a real creep. He says, hey creep. No, he says, okay, I can get you down to the afterlife to see your dad, and you can help me, come back to the land of the living. Just say the spell and we'll go down there together. So she says the spell and they go down there, but guess what? Lydia is trying to go after to save her. She ends up calling Beetlejuice, even though she doesn't want to help her.
And Rory thinks it's all a dream.
Yes. And there's a really funny scene with Lydia and Rory in the afterlife with Beetlejuice. And what happens in that scene, Bix? Do you remember what Beetlejuice does?
Yeah, he's like, welcome to couple therapy. How can I help you? And like, do you want to see something scary? It never shows it. It did the same in the first movie. He opens up his face and like something like tentacles come out. And then Rory literally falls over the couch. And then Beetlejuice points out that Lydia is pregnant. Then a baby Beetlejuice pops out of there along with a bunch of like vomit or something.
All kinds of really gross stuff. And also, remember when Beetlejuice says, okay, everyone, spill your guts. And he actually spills guts on the floor. That was kind of gross. And Beetlejuice tells Lydia that basically the guy is going to swap. He conned Astrid into that spell. That means she's going to have to be dead and he's going to take her place in the living world. So Lydia is not happy, Tim.
Yes. And there's two subplots where there's a girl that apparently Beetlejuice chopped up and she's trying to find Beetlejuice. And there's another subplot with William Dafoe as a actor cop that's trying to track down. Who's he trying to track down?
The ex-wife of
that's right.
Yeah, what did you think, Bix? I wanted to get both your guys' opinion. There's this weird subplot that kind of was weird. There's a woman who apparently was Beetlejuice's ex-wife. She's in pieces and she staples herself together and she starts going around the afterlife sucking the soul out of everyone. Did you like that?
Yeah, but I felt bad for Bob. He was adorable.
Oh, yes. Bob is one of the shrunken head guys and he was cute and she killed him. I felt bad for him too. Biggs, I felt bad for him too. But I just felt like she's looking for Beetlejuice because I guess he killed her when they were living and she's trying to get revenge. But she killed him.
She tried to kill him, to be fair.
That is true. She poisoned him and then he axed her in pieces. But it was just weird. Like she was always on the sidelines.
Yeah, well, I mean, she did come into play in the final reel. So I guess that was like the person that was going to take Beetlejuice out. So she was needed.
But at the same time, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite subplot. I just wanted to stick with Lydia and Astrid. But so anyway, they are able to trick Jeremy because Jeremy thinks he's going to be getting back to the world of the living. But what does Beetlejuice do?
Kind of burns him alive. Like,
well,
yeah. she's getting taken away to the train to the great beyond. She's like, help, help. Lydia goes and gets her, and they're being chased by the guards. Can I say this best part?
Of course.
They go through the exit door, they fall through into a desert, and that's the sandworm's habitat. And just as they're about to get caught, their dead dad, who I must mention had a bunch of little piranhas munching on him, reaches out and grabs them and pulls them up, and they're all happy now. And they go to where Jeremy was, and they're like, stop that passport. And he's like grinning because he knows nothing's going to happen to him. And then the passport person is Beetlejuice.
And he sends him to hell.
Basically, like, his passport, because Beetlejuice did it, said, am I allowed to say bad words on here or no?
I mean, if your parents are okay with it, I take no responsibility.
Okay, my dad said it. the passport says, "Shit, you're out of luck," and he says, "Later, fucker," and drops the floor, and he down like a bomb.
Wow,
That's
everyone.
true.
10 years old. Bix Emert-Hutner. He does say that. You're correct. You're like, wow, Bix, good memory.
Yeah, that's a great memory.
I actually think that's a better synopsis than we've ever given, Tim.
Good job.
Bix, great synopsis. But you know what? Weren't you happy they sent Jeremy down to the hell?
Honestly, yeah, I knew something was gonna get him back. I didn't like him that much from the start.
He was awful. He was taking
But
advantage
who is she
of him.
supposed to date?
She can find someone in the world of the living.
I guess.
Yeah.
The ending kind of responds to that question, but not really too. It's kind of like yes and no, but you don't know if it's real or not.
I know. Well, we get to, before the ending, we have the big chaotic wedding scene. Finally, Lydia and Astrid get to the chapel.
And there's a big music number.
Yes, so they get there because remember, Lydia is supposed to marry Rory. Beetlejuice gets there also because poor Catherine O'Hara, Delia, she was trying to do like a ceremony for her dead husband and she ordered these defanged snakes, but the snakes weren't defanged and they bite her and kill her. And that's the one part I didn't like about this movie.
Lesson learned.
What did you think
I felt
of that?
bad for her. She was kind of crying. But at least she found Charles at the end.
Yes, she did find Charles in the afterlife, and he's even bitten in half, so you don't even see his face because they didn't use the
His
actor.
head is decapitated.
Yeah, and they get to go on the soul train to the land beyond. But I hated it that they killed Catherine O'Hara. Tim?
I know. Well, you know what? If they hurry, because the movie made 110 million opening weekend, she can be in the sequel.
I mean, remember, in Beetlejuice, even when you're dead, you're still a part, so that's okay, but it was weird. So they have this big musical number. I wanted to ask you guys, it's to MacArthur Park by Donna Summer, a great song. What did you guys think of the musical number in the church? Bixie, you go first.
I loved it, but I also loved how he was ignoring her comment of like, don't spread it. I want this to kind of be private. And she was like, who are these people? Like 100 people videotaping it off their phone, like right next to her faces. He's like, oh, just a couple influencers. None of them are over 5 million followers. And I'm like, she just told you to keep it private. Like she was mad at you for putting it on the news. And now bringing every influencer in town, back in the whole state to see it.
Right. And then Beetlejuice gave him a truth serum and then he had to reveal how horrible he was.
Yes, Rory, it reveals that he was only with Lydia for the money, which we all knew he was he was an asshole. So
I knew he was a phony from like the start. I'm like, this guy can't be real.
He was a phony. Astrid knew it. Everyone knew it. But I will say this. Justin Theroux's performance was hilarious. He was really funny. We knew he was a phony. And also, I feel like the scene stealer in this movie, Catherine O'Hara, was so funny in every scene she was in. I mean, everyone's good in this movie, but Catherine O'Hara and Justin Theroux, for some reason, I laughed every time they were on screen.
I was happy he was in it, but at first I was like, oh, do we need another character? But I was fine with it.
They had about 25 other characters. But after the big musical number, finally, Beetlejuice's ex-wife, the stapled up woman, comes there. She's going to get Beetlejuice, but what does Astrid do to get rid of her and Rory? Do you remember?
First, I must say she kind of reminded me of Carrie a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, the stapled up woman? Oh, okay.
So, like on your shirt.
Yes. By the way, listeners, I'm wearing a Carrie t-shirt, and I'll get to why I'm wearing this when we discuss the ending scene, Bix. But yes. So what does Jenna Ortega do to get rid of him?
She she reads the Book of the Deceased and summons the sandworm.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, it killed Rory and the stapled woman. But honestly, I didn't like that. Like, sure, I'm fond of Rory dying. I hated him. But I feel like the ending didn't have a good enough battle scene between the stapled woman and Beetlejuice.
You know, that is a good point. That is a really good point. I didn't even think about it. They have this whole backstory where
it was very quick.
Yeah, she's trying to get revenge. She kills multiple people, including Danny DeVito, Bob, and all these people on her way to get Beetlejuice. And then Beetlejuice and her don't even fight.
It could have gone an action route, but I was kind of cool with the karaoke singing scene.
Oh, I love that. But I think it's like, you're right. The sandworm just gobbles her up and she doesn't even get to battle Beetlejuice. Battle Beetle.
Well, the movie's more
Beetle-
focused on how funny Beetlejuice is.
I know, but Beetlejuice still thinks he's going to marry Lydia, but they tell him, no, you nullified the contract because you forced Lydia into the afterlife so she doesn't have to marry you. And then Lydia says his name 3 times, and what happens?
He explodes, and just before he disappears, he says, "I should have got married in Vegas."
It's fun. Good old Beetlejuice with the
Hey,
one-liners.
Well, I hope you guys have fun in Vegas.
I know, someone get married in Vegas. But you know what was the only sad part about after that Willem Dafoe, who's like the afterlife cop, he has to take Delia, Catherine O'Hara, back down there because they're like, wait, where are you going?
She seemed totally okay with
She
it.
says to them, she's like, don't worry, I'll haunt you.
I was so sad when that happened. Like me, this is my smile. Me when she gets taken away. Me when she meets Charles.
Yes, it was nice that she got to meet Charles because you see her go to the afterlife and she goes to, by the way, in this movie, they have something called the Soul Train, which is so funny because they're actually playing soul music.
And
but
Bix is dancing.
Yeah, Bix, did you like the Soul Train? You like that music?
Yeah, for some reason now that I'm thinking it without the music, it reminds me of Roller Coaster.
You mean roller coaster? I love. Sing it, Bix.
No.
Roller- Oh, you got it. Now, yes, so she gets to the Soul Train and she and Charles, who's been bitten in
Live
half.
happily ever
Afterlife. Ever after. Yeah. So then we get to the very weird ending scene, and we'll talk about this because it's very weird. Lydia says that she's going to be done with the ghost show because she wants to focus on her relationships with the living, aka her daughter. And they go to this montage where she's traveling.
Did you recognize the music right away?
Of course, that's why I'm wearing the Carrie shirt. By the way, Bix, I know you haven't seen Carrie yet, but the music that's playing during that ending scene is the music from the Carrie prom scene.
I love that they use that music.
Yeah, that reminded me because in a book, these bullies were like sharing this embarrassing video of this girl to like everyone. And then they were going to like put a blood bucket over it. And she was like, "We need the bucket of blood." And they were like, "No, we use fruit punch instead." And the other bully was like, "That movie didn't end well for the bullies." I'm like, blood bucket, embarrassing video, bullies. Carrie.
Good. So, you heard it here. I think, Melissa and Mark, I think he's ready to watch Carrie. Maybe not that opening scene.
Maybe the 2013.
Yeah, no, Carrie does involve that. And the music that is played during that crazy scene is the music that's played at the end of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. So do you know there was a part of me that thought blood was going to drop on Jenna Ortega? I really did. I was like, why are they playing this music? What did you think, Tim?
I was like, I thought it was the best part of the film, and it really made me walking out of the theater like, this movie's great. But that's all I needed.
You just needed Carrie music.
I just needed Carrie music. That's it.
So Bix, they're showing her, and then they show this montage of like Astrid. She meets someone, she gets married, and then she's having a baby, but the baby ends up being a baby Beetlejuice.
It kills the first doctor. The other doctor leaves in to help, and then it basically goes like this: "Oh, are you okay?" Ah. And then you see the pumps blow up, and then Beetlejuice crawls on the ceiling, jumps down on Jenna Ortega's lap, and says, "Mommy!" And then she's like, kind of laughs.
Yeah, and then Lydia wakes up, and you're like, oh, okay, it was all a nightmare. But then right next to her is Beetlejuice, and he says, "Wow, I had the weirdest dream." And then she screams and wakes up again. It was a dream within a dream. And then it's end credits.
I liked that ending.
I just thought it was, I don't know. What did you think, Bix, of that ending?
I liked it, but it was like really confusing.
I
it's
agree.
A dream within a dream within a dream.
It's kind of like, okay, is she just still being haunted by Beetlejuice? Was any of that real? Did Jenna Ortega get married?
I think that's the big takeaway is like, hey, we're all haunted by Beetlejuice.
I think it's called, hey, we're going to leave things open for another sequel.
Would you go see a Beetlejuice?
Yeah, would you see a third one?
Yeah, but I'd be like, hey, they're all going to die in the next sequel. Hooray.
No, you can't kill Lydia and Astrid.
Beetlejuice's extra ex-wife.
Is that another ex-wife, ex-ex-ex-wife? I think that they did that probably because they wanted to show like it wasn't all wrapped up in a nice little bow. But the only thing I was confused about was, did any of that actually happen? Meaning, did time pass?
Yes. And you know what? I guess we'll find out in 38 years.
And 36 years.
Are you sure?
36 because
Okay, you're good with math.
88 to 24. Yeah. So Bix, do you know if they do
You
another
call
sequel?
Bix Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Do you know if they wait 36 years to do another sequel, how old will you be?
46, right?
Oh my god.
Do you know how old Tim will be?
100.
Okay, so Bix, I want to know.
Day over 30.
You don't look a day of it. See?
Oh, Bix, thank you.
Bix, I want to know. Wait, say that again.
You do look a day over 50.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Tim's gonna cry. Okay, Bix, I want to know, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
Oh my god. That's like so hard.
You can name a few.
I like the scene where Beetlejuice sends Jeremy to hell.
Mm-hmm.
I like the ending scene. I love the ending scene. Probably the ending scene, yeah.
Oh, and Tim, that was your favorite scene?
I liked anything with the Carrie music. That's it. Just kidding.
I just liked for anything from the start of the wedding and the end of the movie.
I was going to say, I think the wedding scene was my favorite because it was so chaotic. Every character was there. They had the music.
My mom was like, it was an Easter egg of like a funny joke of people are glued to their phones because there was all like getting stuck in their phones.
Oh, yes.
I loved when he sent all the influencers into their phone. It was the best. Do you have any influencers that you love, Bix? Who?
Me.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're influencing us.
That's true. I just want to say, actually, for all of our listeners, my nephew Bix has his own YouTube channel. You want to tell everybody what it's called?
Well, it capital B X rules ROBLOX. No spaces. B is the only capital.
So capital B X Roblox rules. Capital B X rules Roblox.
This guy, my uncle will tell you later.
Yeah, me. Now, well, Bix, but can you tell, because I love this, Bix has been making his own horror movie in Roblox. Can you tell us about it?
It's about a killer who escaped from jail and a group of friends. The main girl is named Olivia, and it's like the killer just is targeted for her. We changed it. Well, actually, no, we didn't change it because there's a plot twist at the end. But do you think I can tell them?
Sure, if you want to.
Okay, so the reason the killer is trying to get Olivia and all her friends is because the killer's boss is Olivia's dad.
Oh,
good twist.
Okay.
and
These two commented on my movie.
Yeah, we did. I commented on the YouTube. Now it is called Secret Slasher. That's the name of the movie. And Bix just released part 1 on YouTube, and he made it all in Roblox, and it's really cool, and it has some fun kills in it. And when do you think you'll be releasing part 2?
Pretty soon. Because
Yeah.
I've been working on this since May. Those clips were filmed like all the way back in June or July.
Wow.
good job, Bix.
See, already he's making horror movies. You're everything that I would want to see from a nephew, Bix. And we're going to be watching Halloween. So all over, you said, so you liked Beetlejuice. So, Tim, how about you? What are your overall thoughts on it?
Way better than the original. 2 thumbs up, and I love a good music number. I recommend getting the snake popcorn and just having a blast.
What made you say it's better than the original?
The first one, granted it's 36 years old, but it just started a little slow for me. So I like that this movie was packed, like jammed visually, storyline. I like the additions, and I was into it way more than I ever thought I would be, because nothing against Beetlejuice. It's just, I'm an adult. I'm very mature. I like to read by the fire.
Sure.
Why are all adults like this?
No, he's kidding. He doesn't do that. I agree with Tim and Bix. I really liked it, and I think I enjoyed it more than the original Beetlejuice, which I know is weird to say because it's so beloved, but there was just so much going on Sometimes too much, but like I had a smile on my face throughout it. It was so much action and craziness. Beetlejuice is in it from the beginning, whereas in the first movie, he doesn't come in until halfway through. And it just was so much fun, crazy stuff that I just really enjoyed it. Like I said, I had a smile on my face. I went in without the biggest expectations because it'd been, Beetlejuice wasn't like my favorite movie. So I thought, okay, this will be fun, but whatever. And I left just really enjoying it. I was impressed. I had a lot of fun with it.
I'll see Winona Ryder in anything.
Yeah, and I think I think it was a really fun movie, and it's not like scary, but it's fun, you know?
I couldn't sleep.
Leah, Bix, did you think anything was scary or any of the characters were scary?
I thought it was sad for the influencers because, like,
They
it
were
looked
stuck in their phones.
It looked so scared. Like that one lady, even though she was like a teenager, when she was getting sucked, she looked like a really old lady.
Oh, like when she got sucked into the phone? Yeah, because their whole face gets like pulled in.
Very timely.
You know what it looked like? Remember in the first Beetlejuice when Gina Davis pulls her face, or sorry, Alec Baldwin pulls his nose long and stuff? It looked like that.
Yeah.
But
It's all connected.
How about the effects? Did you guys I don't know if you noticed, Bix, but they used similar effects to the original. They didn't use like crazy CGI. They used like old school 1980s
Practical
effects.
effects.
Yeah, I love that. But honestly, I prefer this one than the other one. But
Oh.
that's like really, really good.
Yeah, I think, we went with some friends, and one friend of mine who loves Beetlejuice was like, oh, it doesn't compare with the original one. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That's an opinion.
Who was that?
I'm not going to name names, but a friend of mine that really, but she loves the original film so much that it's like nothing is going to beat that. When for us, I think because it's not like we're obsessed with the original, we're like, oh, this was really fun.
Definitely not obsessed. I haven't thought about Beetlejuice in 36 years.
Wow.
But I think it's a really fun movie, and this sequel, it felt like a sequel. It didn't feel like it was a different movie. It really felt like it was a continuation of the story. I love that Winona Ryder was the main character, meaning they didn't just focus on the young kids. They focused on her and Catherine O'Hara. I loved Jenna Ortega in it. She's great. She was perfect for that part. Yeah, they were just a great cast. It was a lot of great people, but poor Bob got killed, Bixie.
Ugh, I'm not happy.
What's really funny about Bob, the shrunken head guy, is that he tries to look like Beetlejuice to fool the stapled up woman. And he has like a little shrunken head with the Beetlejuice hair and outfit. It's very cute.
And look a thing like Beetlejuice.
But what about the suit?
What about the head?
That's true.
Obviously, you'd have to be really far away to think he was Beetlejuice. And of course, Michael Keaton, who plays Beetlejuice, did great. I mean, to come back into this role and to look and sound just the same was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And Bix, would you go see this again with your friends?
Yeah.
Are your friends going to see it too?
One of them wants to. The other few haven't even heard of Beetlejuice, and we're teasing about it today at a school picnic.
What?
Oh.
Their parents need to show them Beetlejuice.
Yeah, they never heard of it. They're like, ooh, Beetlejuice. Is he like some sort of weird beetle? And I'm like, he's a demon in a famous 80s movie.
Ah.
And they're like, the 80s. That explains the name. And I'm like, dude.
You tell them, Bix. If anybody hasn't heard of these old horror movies, you tell them, you need to check this out. You're missing out.
I know.
That's good that you're open to watching 80s films.
Of course.
I mean, I've seen Psycho. I didn't love it, but
that was in the 60s. Good job.
You didn't love it? You didn't love, how about the shower scene?
Makes me scared now every time I take a shower, but
You and everybody who saw that movie.
I don't even take showers. I'm filthy.
Yeah, Tim hasn't showered in years.
I stink.
oh, I believe.
Ooh, Bix throwing some shade.
It's okay.
Anyway, Bix, this has been so much fun talking with you. I hope you have had fun and you really remembered the movie so well and just did really great. And again, if you're listening, you want to check out Bix's Secret Slasher Roblox horror movie. The channel is capital BX Rules, RULES, Roblox, ROBLOX.
No spaces.
No spaces. Capital BX, Rules, Roblox. And you can see it. He's very talented. Just turned 10, just turning 10. Well, Bix, this has been so much fun, and you did great. We're so happy to have you on Happy Horror Time.
Good job, Bix.
Oh, also, just in case people don't hear what the name was after the first 100 times, just maybe leave it in the name, like put a part in the title or something.
Yeah, I will put your link in our social media post or on our episode description so people can just click and go right to it.
Thank you, because you're already subscribed, so it's easy for you to do the link.
You're right. I am subscribed. I think Tim's subscribed too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
You're responsible for like half of my subscribers.
I am? Well, of course, because I want to brag about all your talent. You're very, very talented.
Thank you.
He is, everyone. Anyway, we've had a great time chatting with you, Bix. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll talk with you later.
Have a great evening.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye, Bixie.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Happy Horror Time.
If you'd like to support the podcast, please sign up to be a patron at www.patreon.com/happyhorrortime. As a patron, you get access to all our bonus content, which now includes 2 new bonus episodes every month, a monthly after show mini episode, access to our Discord community so you can chat with us directly, and the chance to review a film with us in one of our bonus episodes.
Patrons also get all our regular episodes ad-free and a day early, our monthly newsletter, the chance to vote in polls, and autographed Happy Horror Time stickers.
I'm Matt Emmert.
And I'm Tim Murdoch.
And we hope you have a happy horror time.